And speaking of black holes, the Knights of the Kings of the Black Throne of the Justice League, or whatever, we're up next in a match against Pac and Penta. He's changed his name for this one. Penthouse was not Penta L0 to 60 in 5 seconds, or whatever his name is. It was Penta Obscuro. He is a very obscure fellow. This match, the spooky monster cult heels with their spooky light off, light on, or as JR said, wax on, wax off, that gimmick against the heel bastard Pac and Penthouse, who, if he ain't a heel, he just likes hanging out behind a tombstone with a shovel, accompanied by Alex Abrahantes in white face paint, dressed like a druid with a long robe. I saw this match on Svengoolie last week.
No, you didn't. I watched Svengoolie last week. That was Attack of the Puppet People. Was that it?
Something like that. I wrote, okay, this might be a clusterfuck. Again, a jump start, a four-way. All of them go to the floor. Penthouse does a dive in the first 30 seconds. Then they ring the bell to start the match. The first move of the match, Pac hits his 450 splash off the top on one of them. 1-2, he kicks out. And then they settle it down 2 in, 2 out, and start a tag team match and kicking and stomping. It's literally like watching a movie in reverse. You see the finish, you see the middle, then you see them start by shaking hands and meeting for the first time in a parking lot somewhere. Who are the heels? Both teams are doing the same shit. Brody King, the more I see of him, indie to the bone. He did a head palm shoot off. He got in the ring within 30 seconds of him getting in the ring. He did a head palm shoot off. He turns his back on guys and runs to the ropes like all the rest of the Chikara pajama wearing crowd. This is so gimmick. This whole thing was so gimmicked. They went to a break. They came back, but I didn't. I remind everybody FTR was in a meaningless battle royal. Mark and Jay Briscoe are unsigned, but we were watching these four on national television. So I got to the finish. Malakai Black goes to spray the mist, but Penthouse puts his hand over his mouth so that Malakai chokes on his mist, and Penthouse rolls him up 1, 2, 3. And then they're trying to get heat afterwards. Brody King and Malakai Black, they're trying to get heat afterwards, but it was horrible. Nothing was happening. The fans weren't caring. It was moving at a glacial pace. And then finally, was it Malakai Black that got the shovel and had Penthouse laid out, and they were getting ready to chop Penthouse's head off with a shovel. When the lights went out, and they come back on, and everybody screams, "It's Buddy Matthews!" And many people across the country in unison said, "Who the fuck is Buddy Matthews?" Buddy Matthews apparently has just been released, another underneath talent that was released by the WWE who did not use that name, right?
He was Murphy.
Murphy!
He was Buddy Murphy, and then Vince decided he hated first names again, and he just became Murphy.
Murphy! Well, and they made the cryptic references. Well, these fans know who he is and where he's been, and he's got history with somebody or other. I don't fucking know. He stood there forever. Malakai Black looked at him like he'd seen a ghost. He's scared. He's down on his ass in the ring. He's so scared of Buddy Murphy or Buddy Matthews or my little dog Buddy. And wasn't that Buddy was a sidekick of some woman in a Truman Capote novel that I used. Our neighbor Dot used to read it to me when I was just a little bitty wee fellow.
Which one was that, New Wave Hookers or Cafe Flush?
No, quit now. Truman Capote had nothing to do with New Wave Hookers. He was old school all the way. But anyway, so Buddy, then Malakai Black is scared of Buddy, but Buddy starts kicking the shit out of Penthouse. And then Malakai's happy. Now he's joined them. Now we got another person in this fucking group. So it's 2 WWF rejects and a fucking guy from the Indies with tattoos all over him. Now security starts running down the ramp one at a time, slowly, so that Brody King, can be out on the floor and beat them up. And then they start throwing chairs into the ring, slowly, with no urgency of anything. Buddy just stomps Penthouse's face into the chair, and everybody stands there again, and then the lights go out. And they're out for a while, and you can tell that the announcers, JR lays out in a lot of these, after making fun of lights on, lights off. The lights are out for so long, I could have driven a goddamn Volkswagen Beetle out of ringside and into the parking lot. But the lights come back on, and everybody's shocked that the heels are gone, or one set of heels. Because the lights were out for 30 seconds, they probably just fucking walked out. This may have been the worst match and angle combination that they have ever done on this television program, just in terms of just shits. And it took them so long, they went over time. They went to the break at the top of the hour. They were on the announcers and then went to break at 9 o'clock Eastern because this fucking dreck took so long. What did you think of this fiasco?
So far, I agree with you about Brody King. Malakai Black's the kind of guy I want to say I like it because he still does some weird things, but I would probably enjoy a good competitive match with him against someone. But I'm convinced now that every single idea he has about his character is terrible, and some of his friends need to have the guts to tell him, this shit's really bad.
Yeah.
The lights out, lights on thing is so lame by this point. This time it became almost a parody of itself. You say it was out for 30 seconds. If it was 30 seconds, because it was on TV, it felt like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It felt really long, where for no reason, the lights are out. The Buddy Murphy thing, Buddy Matthews, first of all, hello wellness program. That guy is fucking jacked. Second of all, the guy's been used like a jerk off in WWE. He showed up here. The place popped for him because they do every time an ex-WWE guy shows up, as long as it's not like someone they are predisposed to hate. They pop for him. I don't know what his history is with Malakai. I don't know if it's in WWE or NXT or the Indies. I have no idea. That wasn't explained other than Malakai was hamming it up for a moment. But boy, this is uninspiring and really not good. I have not liked Malakai Black and his team, and I don't like anything about his fucking bootleg wannabe Undertaker shit. And then there's Penta. All of a sudden, Alex is a druid, and Penta has become...
Alms for the poor. He's swinging the thing. Send out your dead to bring out your dead.
And Penta was already like an evil skeleton man. Now all of a sudden he's more evil. I don't know what this was. And then he got his ass kicked. So it didn't even matter to begin with.
He came out from behind a tombstone, and by the end of the match, he was buried.
There's a reason why this episode, because I saw this yesterday on social media, there's a reason why this episode lost viewers each segment throughout the whole show. And this segment was especially bad. And I know there are some people that like Malakai. And again, in the ring, he's a talented guy. But all this other shit, I don't even know if it gets on Raw. This is NXT kind of stuff more than even Raw, but it's terrible, and I don't like it. And there are other people there who feel the same way, by the way. He's not, well, I'll just say his stuff isn't universally loved.
Find the ratings. We'll talk about those at the end of the thing, because we still have a ways to drop